Alright, today we're going to be talking about the VOX AC30 Custom Classic. Alright, so as you heard, sounds great. I love VOX. I'm a VOX guy and all VOX style amps. I got the Morgan now. That's kind of my new favorite toy. But I've had this for 5 years now, and it's been a big part of my life. This was my first kind of professional gear purchase besides guitars. It served me somewhat well. There are some negatives. I'll get to those later. But for the positives, sounds great. I'm not one of those VOX haters. It probably doesn't sound like the old VOXes. I've never played an actual old VOX. It's got 2 channels. I've used both. Both sound great. I prefer the top boost. That's just me though. Some people like the normal, a little more open, less compressed and everything. A little more natural sounding, I guess. It's loud as fuck. I mean, it's all of 30 watts. You're not ever gonna want more out of this amp, volume-wise. It's got some. It's got an effects loop on the back. I've never actually used it, so I'm not a big effects loop guy. I just run everything through the front. That's how I was taught. I've never really messed with effects loops. That's just a personal thing for me. It's got tons of gain on tap, and with an overdrive you can play any kind of music. And while we're talking about overdrives, this thing takes pedals extremely well. There's a reason why a lot of people that use a lot of effects use these things. Like the Edge, probably one of the most famous Vox players besides Brian May, and the Beatles, of course, but they're on another level. The Edge uses one of these things, and he's very effects driven, and it works perfect, even if you don't use the effects loop. I think the Vox, if you're using Voxes for the affected kind of sound, you want to go into the front because it adds a certain level of distortion, maybe not distortion is the right word, overdrive or character to the effects, and that's why people use that. Obviously, of course, the Beatles use these, which, I mean, that's the British sound. These things are jangly. It's kind of a buzzword, but it is there. Not a lot of low end. A lot of mid-range, a lot of upper mids, and a lot of treble. It's definitely a brighter amp, and it can be harsh if you don't know what you're doing or don't know how to adapt to that kind of thing. When you're using overdrives, if you're not careful, it can sound like nails in a blender. So a major problem I've had with this thing is it has gone down multiple times on multiple gigs. Just gone. And I've had to get it repaired multiple times. It's all printed on a circuit board, so it's super hard to repair. It is not easy. You can't just solder in a new capacitor. It's honestly, it's a bitch. So like that gets like a negative 10 on like repairability. You can't repair it. You can't mod it. It's also replacing tubes, an absolute bitch. You have to kind of like flip the amp inside the chassis and then pull it out. But, you know, if you want one, get it. I love them. This has served me well. I will be selling this. I am going to part ways with this. I'm moving on to the Morgan. A Morgan is, well, stay tuned for the shootout video between these two. It's got a real spring reverb, and it has a actual tube tremolo that kind of bounces between the power tubes, and it sounds awesome. There is nothing you can't do with this amp. This amp has served me well, besides when it's gone down. I have a lot of fond memories with this amp. Kind of sad to see it go, but also hope it finds a new home somewhere. It's the VOX AC30 Custom Classic. If you like it, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, smash the dislike button. I don't care. If you want to get one, get you one. VOX just reissued their original lineup, so they're gonna be doing like part-to-part replicas of the old ones, which I am very interested in. VOX, hit daddy up, because I want some of that. Alright. Yeah, that's it. Love this amp, had a lot of great memories, but time to move on. So, see you later.